Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth. A dark shape looms over you. Against the guttering lamplight, the black shadowed form hovers unsteadily, like a cutout in a magic lantern. You can't be sure whether it's a real, living thing or another grim manifestation from your week-long bender, which at first blush you appear to have survived. Or is it the face of death come to claim you? In any case, the specter seems to be in no hurry to move along. Painful memories prick your gin-addled brain. Now you recall why you're here. You chose this alleyway in London's East End to drown the last of your days in drink. Well, this apparition isn't the angel of death. Then even at suicide, you have failed. Atticus, he's coming. Wake up. Get out of my head, you old crone. Atticus Daley. Nothing but a dark silhouette for a face. Oh, no, it's a mask. His voice is cold and mechanical, like the hinge of a heavy iron door, concealing his identity, no doubt. We're going to try to speak. Who are you? Instead of a response, he proffers me a tin stippled flask. A small kindness. We're going to wave it off. Very well then, suit yourself. Stowing the flask, the stranger leans back into the dim light of a gas lamps. I can finally see his features in full. He wears a brass-buttoned traveling waistcoat, complete with a scarlet hood and a mask of ornate gold panels. It glitters in the gaslight, delicately crafted. Finery like I've never seen. On your feet now, you sorry sight. Dizzy from the head rush, it's hard to keep my balance. Who are you, and what do you want with me? A friend in need of your services. Right, but a man of his station, so deep in the docklands, spells trouble. Misery equates a man with strange bedfellows. I need a moment to get my bearings. Fair enough, but I'll be watching. The stranger pulls back his waistcoat, showing off a gilded flintlock pistol. Our animal instinct over the years, many a Ming Bang have come to collect. This barman F is no different. So many outstanding debts and far-gone second chances. Is it all catching up to me? No matter. No matter. Let it be tonight, then. Temperament is representation of your character's mental state, progressing from desperate, wary, content, optimistic, to hopeful. Your choices can change your character's temperament. Certain dialogue choices are only available based on your temperament score. Noted. Come now, surely things aren't so dire. It's up to me, seeing every impulse to an outcome, snuffing out the pleasures of life should I so desire. What I need is peace and quiet, a place to clear my mind. Not sure if it's peaceful or quiet, but behind that padlocked door, you might at least escape the stranger. An evening cane concealing a steel blade and a cherry wood sheath. Below the brass figurehead is a band of crushed velvet. Battle-scarred with a well-worn handle. Take the cane with you. I should really keep better track of my belongings, even on a gin bender. Hey, thanks so much for joining me. We played this for a Next Fest demo, and then again we played another bit for one of their playtests. The Illustrated London News, this week's edition. A fleet-footed journalist takes to the East End, underground and undercover. The hard-boiled scoop of the courtesan killer. Who's really behind the murders? And what is Scotland Yard still hiding from the public? Read on for the gory details. This story will boil your blood. Ponder the news. Your inner voices are at odds. When you choose one voice over another, this changes the balance of your humors. Over time, these voices become stronger. Hazards of the job, I suppose. But it's a shame. No one deserves to die like that. That's true, and I've kept their company before. It could have been an acquaintance of mine. So is the, that killer, is that going to be like Jack the Ripper? Pretty sure I said that. Ariana? I surely hope not. But it's been a while. I should check on her. Dolly's being hunted. It is rather curious. Investigate the murders. I have no police special, but I'll see what I can find. Explore the world around you to discover helpful items on your journey. East London hides many secrets. A heavy door that's blocking my escape from the stranger. There's an oxidized chain and a padlock over the hasp. Should it be a soft job so long as this lock isn't rusted through? I'll come back to this later. I hope you guys don't mind my voice because there's, if I remember right, this has a lot of reading. There is absolutely no voice narrative in this game. All we will be doing is reading. 3 rootless souls taking their ease in the heat of a steam vent. One of the few comforts to be had in an old London town. This one is Poe Pickett. Drifts around the city so much it's hard not to know him. Might not remember me, though. Balder damn dash that landlord. Bloody meter refuses to fix the heat in my abode. Them mutton shaunters cast me out in the bricks like flicking an ant off a sleeve. The unfortunate's companions huddle for warmth, their tattered garments splashed with ale stains. These men are dusty, perpetually so. Not that I miss the old quarters, no. With the endless boiler double troubles, it was not much warmer in there than out here. By the way, I'm not going to try any accents. I don't know any. He looks at me askance. Wager his mood still needs thawing. Oi, horns. If you're not handing out hot meals, bugger off. Talking takes thinking, and I ain't got a lot of that to spare, in case you didn't notice. Let's go back this way. That was a shortcut. It wasn't really particularly ready for me. I can't remember. I don't think I can spin the camera. I think it's all fixed. The containment fence. Military grade, reinforced with barbed wire. The sign reads Werewolf Containment Zone in luminescent paint. Electric bolts are arc between the fence posts. The smoky ozone scent flooding your nostrils. The moon won't be full for another 2 nights. It might be safer inside instead of at the whim of the stranger and his brocade waistcoat. Wear your worst. Bugger this rooty fence. It's just a pile of kindling and wire. I'll take a running start and charge straight through it. I'll say no time for this now. The best that I can tell with this game, what we figured out from before, is that it's got a steampunk fairy tale feel to it. We're going to meet fairy tale creatures. The stranger stands with a loose grip on his flintlock. Right then, he Rudy sight. Let's get going. We'll need you batting and a full wicket. Will I let him ragdoll me around East London? Eek put a bullet through my heart in half moment. Now's not the right time to challenge him. It's best if I don't tempt fate and instead trust the unknown. Dry mouth, aches in the bones, and a chill sweat. This body is in no shape for combat. I'm glad we understand each other. Come on, then. I'd rather not suffer any more than I have to, but at some point, you'll tell me what you're planning. There's no time for dawdling. And he hasn't any conscience. If it seems like Lennon left you behind, humor me for the evening. Otherwise, I'll deliver the bounty on your head, and I won't have wasted any time. Your headache rages with the fierce second wind, and every step is a hammer and nail in your psyche. The stranger's reckless pace only makes matters worse, his arm like a vice grip, dragging you down a maze of twisted alleyways, till at last a string of paper lanterns appear. Buoys in a sickening sea of night, the cherry glow of the red lantern lane. Within waves of jasmine and sandalwood incense, memory washes fear away. This might be the only place that can convince you to keep on living, even just for a night. The gas mantle above the door fills you with fondness, cleansing the rust of your mind-gouging hangover. You've arrived at the Red Lotus Den, the only place you've ever felt at home. No need to be pulled along now. You'll go inside willingly. Happy now? Body aches, persistent nausea. From a physical standpoint, I'm barely holding it together. Allow me to rephrase. Have you ever been happy? I don't know. Many years ago. To make a skill check, you draw a card from one of the 4 minor arcana decks. Each deck contains cards numbered. Alright. Many years ago is our wit. And what of those memories? I should let them go, but how? Watch the feelings bubble up from the past. To a soul seated in a simple conversation, all emotion is water, solid when frozen by resentment, boiling when enraged, and fluid when at peace. Accept the pain. Do not let the mind attach to it. Well, there's nothing else I haven't tried. That's right. If you need a break, don't be ashamed. Withdrawals, they can muddle our heads and make us weak. Don't worry, you'll feel better soon. A brass-linteled mahogany bar lined with candles, casting eerie shadows on the centaur behind it. His equine muck sweat cuts through the smell of incense. Careful there. Centaurs are known to have short fuses, especially at long hours in service occupations. Some centaurs have been kind to me. I won't pass judgment until he proves me wrong. How about Mr. Browncoat? He's rather unique. Hey, Bixby Browncoat, the owner here at the Lotus. Most nights he's waiting at the bar, so I hope he hasn't taken ill. Maybe if I wait around, Bixby will show up? But he could be gone a while. Must be the press of business drawing him away from the front of the house. The centaur leers, his misshapen chin a shelf for his cigarette, grunting from the jangle of bad teeth. Good evening, sir. Would you like to gain admittance? Daley ignores him and turns to me instead. Must say, I'm impressed by his nerve. No quarrel, just here for the lotus. Oh, wait. The bouncer let the cow pies speak. Looks like he's got some quarrel with yours truly. No quarrel, just here for the lotus. Is that so? We're here for the lotus, nothing more. Not buying it. This one's got a screwed up fizz. What's the matter, eh? I'm just not used to this brand of potpourri. I smile as agreeably as possible. Come now, have a laugh. You must be new here, seeing as you don't recognize me. Maybe I'll have a word with Bixby about his new staff. Bixby, eh? We'll see about that. He'll be making his rounds any minute. Out trots Mr. Browncoat. Surely come to see what the fuss is about. He wears a long-faced countenance, a gold pocket watch, and a lavender-tinted pince-nez on his aquiline nose. Despite his careful preening, the turbulence of a life lived in the margins shows on his face. Your new bouncer didn't seem to recognize me. But Mr. Daley is one of our regulars. Ah, yes. I'm sorry, Mr. Browncoat. I should have known. We'll talk about this later. As you can see, there are clients to entertain. Bixby darts a disapproving look at the bouncer. I suppose good help is hard to find, but rest assured, you'll have a private booth and a bottomless hot tea in the house. Now, gents, let us away to the lotus. Bixby ushers you through the door and leads the way down the back stairs. The stranger on your heels is like a stubborn shadow. The red lotus is draped in a haze of pale smoke, dotted with flickering candles and incense, glowing like cinders in the night. The smell of burning opium is dark and rich, like a batch of floral biscuits with a sharp afterbite. The pale red glow from the Chinese lanterns paints the space in perpetual twilight. The pale red glow from the Chinese lanterns paints the space in perpetual twilight. It's easy to lose track of time within these walls, whiling away your days in a blissful waking dream. What's that gear clattering racket? A jet of steam cuts through the quiet of the din. What a curious machine. I wonder how it works. It's got an Arsenal heart drum. That's a top-flight boiler. Ball-in socket legs and pressurized feet. There's nothing run-of-the-mill about it. Hi there. Didn't mean to startle you. Off it goes, heading for the private section. And where'd that masked stranger get off to? A sleeping poppy head is draped over a mattress in the corner, drooling idly onto his shirt. Fancy that, an errant wallet is poking out of the corner of his slacks. It earns to be free. His wrist's right over it, though. It'll be a risky lift. Better not. My hands are feeling a little shaky. Sticks of heady incense waft in the air, always burning, no matter the flow of customers. A sturdy yet musty old bookshelf. The spines show such titles as Arcane Magic on the Eastern Ridge. The spine shows such titles as Arcane Magic on the Eastern Edge of Ruin, Opium Through the Ages, and parlor games Love in the Dreamtime. Two workmen blissfully free of the waking world. And when they wake, I should hope they will be refreshed. Evening, stranger. The dwarf has a warm and amiable look, with a set of crystal blue eyes, sharply intelligent, and a red mustache that is so full it could crawl off his face and build a cocoon. His beard is an elegant braided in the common style. I finger the brass rings on my own goatee, which is coarse and stringy by comparison. Just fine. How'd you do? How do you do? Just fine. Some kind of inventor, are you? Name's Theodore Redgrave, Brotherhood of Boffins, but call me Teddy. Most people do. You invent things, gadgets, and the like? Bloody well true, but my eyes aren't what they used to be, so I'm training this bucket of brass for my apprentice. The automaton cheerfully jets a cloud of steam. You look like the tinkering type. If I had a little scrap, would you be interested? Sure as sight, there are all sorts of gleam in the gutters. Let me know what you find, and I'm your man. Boffins, eh? Ah, yes, the Royal Society funds all kinds of industrial research nowadays. There's a brotherhood for every branch of science, but I'm with the DA division for automatons. Your automaton, has it got a name? This here is Otto. Perfectly friendly, he is, if a little odd. Stands reason, though, who among us isn't a little odd? Truth, I've heard. What can I call you, sir? Atticus Daley. Teddy pats the automaton with his fat paw. Mr. Daley, from the both of us, it's a pleasure. Otto's gonna need some tweaks before the brawls, but we'll have him fit as a fiddle by then. Otto's a brawler, eh? So far, he's only watched from the sidelines, but someday he'll fight with the other battle traps. No emotion from the automaton, of course, but one can't help but wonder how it feels about all this. See, I'm a hunter of fell beast and monster. After the werewolf fights, those outlaw wretches are all Tartardamalian? Tartardamalian? Okay. Much easier to take in for a bounty. Only 3 days the moon is full bellied. Better have a good mind to who you're betting on. Fighting occupation must never be a dull moment. There's true. I just knew you were a man of culture. And that's on top of having the kind of stature I look for in a cove eager to be on my docket while partaking in pit fight. A fetching offer, though I don't want to commit just yet. Besides, the stranger wouldn't want me to be led astray by such endeavors. He strikes me as the kind of fella who'd cross oceans and deserts while giving chase to his quarry. Good night, then, and good luck with your contraption of yours. Another gentle customer on the journey of the land of Nod. Let him be. I mean, the stranger's right there. Let's not pickpockets. Lattice wooden screens and high back seating provide some comfort and privacy for those that can afford it. The booths are made of luxurious calf leather. Calf leather, my poor brothers and sisters, skinned for creature comfort. The leather is well oiled and plush with dimpled riveting. Delicate china and exclusive menus of the dens. Offerings are available here for those of a more discerning taste. Seems I'm in for a treat on account of the stranger's pocketbook, as fat as a Christmas goose. Let's show a little restraint. Still, I'd like to know what his motives are. Why'd he invite me here? Better here than an alley. He could have already killed me and collected on my bounty, but he didn't. I guess I should hear him out. We're seeing what he's after. Infuriating, but I can't keep the crone from intruding. Nevertheless, the stranger is waiting on me. Well, let's get on with this. The menu is embossed with an array of oral morphines, liquid and powder cocaines, and all manner of midnight oil. Teddy seems an interesting chap, and the automaton is quite something, isn't it? Bugger the small talk. Why did you bring me here? We've got plenty of time for explanations. Why don't we start with a sample of some of the den's wares? Careful now. He's obviously trying to curry favor, although it would be good to loosen up. With so many dear poisonous variations, it's hard to decide what will hit the spot. I must say I'm impressed with your discretion. I would have thought just any fix would do. Thanks, I suppose, but I know it's not from the kindness of your heart. We'll see if you sing the same tune when it's said and done. Now then, while you think about the entree, I'll prepare the appetizer. He takes a small tablet out of his shirt sleeve, cracks it in half, and drops it in my teacup. The other half goes into his own. You can't expect me to drink that. Half and half, an equal dose. I wouldn't kill us both now, would I? Drink the tea. Well then, cheers to not killing anyone. The drug tea restores my spirits instantly. Took me ages to perfect this remedy. With this new blend, that ghastly teeth-gnashing anxiety gone, leaving just the euphoria. Seems the stranger is no stranger to drugs. The pains of my withdrawals are all but absent now. And for the main course, how about white winolation? You must be fond of that one. His light-hearted confidence seems like a front. I get the feeling he knows you better than he's letting on. Any sort of psychic barrier is useless. The bothersome hag won't leave me be, and here I am, face to face with the telepath. I'll have enough of this facade. Not only did you pick my local place, but you pretend to suggest my favorite blend, like it was a lucky guess. I know a little something about you, it's true, but it's part and parcel of my profession. I keep tabs on people who pique my interest. How have you been tracking me? Let's see. I guess we'll go with wit. What is your profession exactly? Let's say I look after Her Majesty's interests with great vigor when they align with my own. On with it then. You've tried my patience long enough. We at first find his cryptic speech alluring, but now it's plainly an annoyance. Very well, I already know of your life as a roughneck and a panhandling mage. But what about before that? What about the Sacred Heart? I guess we'll have to be honest. It was where I grew up before I looted the nuns' coffer and took to the streets. I gathered as much, but I'm not sure. But what I'm not sure about is your parents. All I really have are guesses. This character has gained the retrospective trait and will now be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. My mother likely gave me up because she couldn't pay my keep, and I suppose my father either died or walked out on us. So the sisters never told you anything about your parents? I can't say for sure, but it's too bloody unpleasant to think about. Oh, I gotta click it. If the memory's there, we can call it back gently. This fellow's lost his mind. Something occurred at the Sacred Heart that you've forgotten. With the help of an opium dream, you might recall the details that will lead to your mother. Lead me to her gravesite, you mean? What would that accomplish? On the contrary, I believe she's alive. Her name came up on a ledger at Bethnal House. I've seen my share of swindlers, but this takes the cake. Just humor me for a moment. Matilda is, of course, her given name, but how about her family name? I don't think the sisters at the orphanage ever told me what it was. But if you could recall Matilda's family name, and it's on record at the orphanage and matches the ledger at the Bethnal house, you could prove her identity at the hospital, and by claiming kinship, set her free. It means digging up memories of the Sacred Heart. Not exactly how I thought the night would unfold. I'm sure if my mother's alive, she's forgotten me. I don't mean to sway your opinion, but unless you can think of back to those troubling times, then you won't be worth more than the price on your head. A bounty I'm assuming you'd be happy to collect. That's right. Albeit less desirable, it's another way to ensure that I won't have wasted my time. He's offering me a chance to live, but only if I can draw up those memories. So, what will it be? The dream dose and a voyage between the banks of memory, or the death dose and the end of all your days? Take the dream. Can't take the where you're worse. All right, take the dream dose. You take the stranger's offer, eager to lose touch with harsh reality and for a chance to recall everything that could lead to your mother's whereabouts. Shortly after drifting away from consciousness, you find yourself being enveloped in a miasma of repressed memories. The stranger's recent inquiry is reminding you of growing up in the Sacred Heart orphanage. Aunt Emmy's warm embrace suddenly morphs into chilly restraints as remembrances of dooryard scuffles with bellicose orphans resurface. It's as if life's refusing to allow you to seek refuge from tangible hardships, no matter how potent your drug of choice for escapism is. This place is surely a dream, but it's all too familiar. You must find out what the stranger is seeking in your memories. The courtyard is nothing but hard-packed sand and scuffy grass. Eloise watches over the children at play. By this time, you are big enough to give as good as you got, and the ones who wouldn't fight you insulted you with abandon. As the others adapted, I became more isolated. I often thought of running away. Atticus, you'll be 12 years old in a week's time. There's something I need to tell you. What's the difference? I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. Now, Atticus, let's hear what she has to say. It's about your mother. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't know how. I'm sorry, Atticus. I wish I'd been more brave. At least you're telling me now before I quit this place. The day you arrived, there was a ring wrapped up in your blankets. You're old enough to have it now, and your mother left this too. She hands me an old piece of parchment, a note from my mother. Can you make out what it says? No, there's no message. I can't produce memory. The truth will come in time. I'm sorry I kept this from you for so long. Did she ever come back for me? She came back half a year later and insisted you were her child. She mentioned the note and knew the date we found you on the steps. But why didn't I go with her? Hush. Eloise is coming to that. As your mother signed in at the registry, a horse and buggy drew up outside, and there was a terrible shout as someone bowled over the sister at the door. When this fellow burst in, your mother went stiff as a corpse. Should it have been my father? I don't know who he was, but he struck a panic in my heart. There was malice in his every step. Twitching, insidious man. He took your mother, and she never returned. I forgot about this day, for good reason. Perhaps you were too young to hear the tale. Hearing this from Heloise heartened me at the time, but it still didn't change the fact that I couldn't stand the Sacred Heart. After I fled the orphanage, I did search for my mother until I decided there was nothing I could do. Perhaps not then, but This is now. The open arms of an angel were purely symbolic. I never had a home in this dreadful place. I had to grow a thick skin in my younger years, even if it made me more socially impenetrable. The bits of colored chalk were the most sought after. It's too bad they were so often wasted on crude drawings. I see you've recovered from your latest round of fisticuffs. Anything to say for yourself? Sometimes it's like I go blind for a few minutes, and when I wake up, I'm crying and cut up, and everyone's staring at me and laughing. Oh wait, we got that one. You poor child, you've suffered long enough. Time you learned what your bloodline is capable of. Must be another ploy to get me to stay, but I'll be 13 in a few months, and then I'm running off for good. Being singled out as a minotaur, always having insults thrown at you. Terrible. The bright spot is that you have the gift of magic, and you can develop your talents if you study the tarot. Fans out colorful cards. They seem to buzz with an eerie electricity. Look closely at the card, at the magician, a symbol of new beginnings. One arm to the heavens and the other toward the earth. He is a conduit between the spiritual and material realms. Can't say I buy it, but I'm listening. That's the spirit. Minotaurs are magical creatures, and like this magician, you are a conduit. I committed this spell to memory long ago. I'll share it with you, but only with your promise of wholehearted trust. Okay, I know you wouldn't lead me astray. I trust you. And I trust you, Atticus. Because if my superior should learn of this, I will never wear the habit again. Now this is a cantrip. You must speak over it and over until it is written across your mind in bold letters. The voice drops into a strange low whisper. Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell of the air and taste from the water. Touch down to the earth in another form. Aristotle defined 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing, corresponding to the elements of fire, air, water, earth, and ether. Think I understand except that bit about ether. Ether is the energy propelling each heartbeat, the same material in the soul and the consciousness of all blooded creatures. Those with proper training can channel ether into the earthly sphere. Therein lies the power of the cantrip, the ability to transmute energy into matter. It's tied to hearing, so first you must learn to listen, and you must hear the winds and the wiles of the heavens. You see, the night is getting on. What about the rest? Try to remember. I held my hands over the tarot cards, and we sat quietly until I heard a voice like a mirror, as if the words were backwards. Then I felt my lips moving, and when I opened my eyes, we were breathing the words of the cantrip in unison. The memory cuts to the quick, but at least it's still intact. Well done, moving right along. Is it time to wake up? I dare say I'm ready for this to be over. This was my bed, right next to Cinder. And here's the footlocker. I kept a few trinkets. Worthless, the lot of them. When midnight strikes, I'll be 13 years of age. Father Franco keeps the orphanage funds in the private office. That's my ticket out of here. Unlikely skill check. Sneak past Cinder. Right then, nothing to it. What are you up for? If you're looking for the nun's candy stash, you can forget it. I already checked. Say, Snyder isn't told Franco due to give you a thrashing in the morning. You don't... What? You ruined his vestments, remember? Shouldn't be so clumsy. You saw that? I'm so tired of scrubbing flagstones. You must be some kind of phantom, a dream. I'm going back to sleep. There's enough here to get me started on my own. Hey, Dirt, I'll put 100 leagues between me and the Sacred Heart. What was that? Sounded like it came from the hallway. This house is roused. I better make my exit. Someone's coming. My only way out is through that window. There's a voice in the corridor, then a pale shape that emerges from the shadows. Stealing this money, it will hurt the Sacred Heart. We fell behind. We skipped over holidays and knitted clothes for the children. This memory's been twisted by the guilt you felt from taking it, taking a new shape to prevent this sort of behavior again. That's right, it didn't happen like this. She didn't catch me in the act. I'm sorry, but I had no other choice. There's always a choice, my child, and there's still a way to make it right. Normally I say that drifting into deep sleep would be a merciful release from rivaling such memories. Yet something compels me to push on, be put through the ringer, to face the greatest of foes, self. When I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I'm old, I know that it is. Alright, it looks like Clara Reed is next. Navigate London as the sharp and savvy courtesan Clara Reed, before new crimes and the markings of her past catch up to her and tear her life apart. Clara uses her sharp wit and tact to navigate the perils of London's upper class. Oh wait, she's grace, she's intellect, and she's tact. Bookish and whip-smart since childhood, she took comfort in spending long hours in pursuit of knowledge. A shield against the pressure of the world and a sword against those who sought to control her. Revolutionary feats of engineering and shameless displays of wealth. A common sight in London, yet rarely does one come across that which combines technological prowess and financial abundance. Enter Silas's airship, its gilded frame and sheer size, literally and figuratively, casting deep shadow over the city's slums and wealthy districts. Shaft of sunlights filter through the windows that wrap around each of the airship's rooms, bathing them and their occupants in a warm glow. Pipes and polished wooden floors rumble to the spinning of the airship's propellers. You feel like you're standing within a slice of the future. All right, we will tackle this in the next episode. Thank you so much for keeping me company.